Friends.
What's happening, friends? It's nice to, we already had our coffee, we're drinking our water, petting our pug, all of the beautiful things. It's a beautiful day would you say that we're in spring?
Not yet.
Reading week is upon us for the universities and the colleges, so isn't that like March break? And isn't March break... Is March break spring?
The first
spring
day of
break? Spring break. It's called spring break.
That's why they don't call it spring break.
Oh,
the first day of spring is coming soon. And daylight savings time will happen.
Ugh.
Do you know what happens on daylight savings? I know, but what happens?
The clocks go into false time. Did you know that the whole world...
Maybe we're going back into the real time.
Did you know the whole world does that?
Except for Saskatchewan.
Except for Saskatchewan. They're like... We're farmers, and we need the truth from the sun.
Do you know what happens this time, though? With the clocks?
The COVID is going to force us not to turn them back. I don't know.
Forward or back?
Spring ahead and fall back.
Yes.
I know that.
Okay. That's what I was wondering if you knew.
And did you know that the rest of the world, like literally the rest of the world does this? Yeah. Like
Except
Europe?
for Saskatchewan.
Do you think like Asia does it? Does Asia do it? I'd have to Google that.
Well, I don't actually know that.
But there's way more countries involved in this than just us.
It's a conspiracy. It's a global conspiracy. It's a conspiracy
to mess with clocks. But in Europe...
It's one of the earliest global
When I lived in Asia, it didn't seem like there was... I don't remember that happening.
Most kids probably don't remember at all.
But it was always like, this is when it goes dark and this is when it goes light. There wasn't a variation like we have. So in the winter in Canada, in Ottawa... You would get up to go to work in the pitch black.
Yes.
And then you would get to work and maybe the sun's coming up and then you come home and it's pitch black.
Yes.
So that is the dead of summer. So now it's staying dead of winter. And so now it's actually staying light longer. Yeah. And so I believe reading week is spring break. So we're in spring. Officially.
I'm not going to argue with
you. You have Gerber daisies. We got...
I'm not going to argue with you about your whole winter's over
philosophy. Hey, look, it's your turn to read. You are the even. I am the odd. Hi, Buddy. Are you going to help out? This is Buddy the pug. Put your hand on the page. Hand.
Feelings on the job. I am furious about my job. Another man got a promotion that I believe I deserve. I'm so mad I feel like quitting. Now my wife says I should deal with my feelings. What good will that do? He still got the promotion. Anonymous. Our feelings at work are as important as our feelings in any other area of our life. Feelings are feelings, and whenever we incur them, dealing with them is what helps us move forward and grow. Not acknowledging our feelings is what keeps us stuck and gives us stomach aches, headaches, and heartburn. Yes, it can be a challenge to deal with feelings on the job. Sometimes they can appear useless. One of our favorite tricks to avoid dealing with feelings is telling ourselves it's useless. We want to give careful consideration to how we deal with our feelings on the job. It may be appropriate to take our intense feelings to someone not connected to our workplace and sort through them in a safe way. Once we've experienced the intensity of the feelings, we can figure out what we need to do to take care of ourselves on the job. Sometimes, as in any area of our life, feelings are to be felt and accepted. Sometimes they are pointing to a problem in us or a problem we need to resolve with someone else. Sometimes our feelings are helping to point us in a direction. Sometimes they're connected to a message or a fear. I'll never be successful. I'll never get what I want. I'm not good enough. Sometimes the solution is a spiritual approach or remedy. Remember, whenever we bring a spiritual approach to any area of our life, we get the benefit. We won't know what the lesson is until we summon the courage to stand still and deal with our feelings. Today, I will consider my feelings at work as important as my feelings at home or anywhere else. I will find an appropriate way to deal with them.
That's the key, is finding the appropriate way.
Some of us
do we deal with our feelings like we deal with them at home, at work? I don't think we do.
I would say...
I hope we don't.
That there's some people who aren't able to compartmentalize like that, but probably most people don't act at work like they do at home.
It's like if you're in an argument at home and the phone rings and you pick it up, you're not like, what do you want? You're like, oh, hello? Okay. Bye. Or the doorbell rings and you go and answer the door. You're not like raging mad. And so like when you were reading this is why you should not drink at work parties.
Oh, 100%.
And I know for 15 years, I wish I had listened to that advice for myself and my addiction, because you don't want to reconcile the actions of the night before to your boss and employees for doing dumb things.
So we're talking about recovery, and we're talking about recovery from the perspective of someone in recovery from addiction and a codependent. And I think that, so for you in this scenario, like, how would you have dealt with that back in the day before you had the tools of recovery? How would you have dealt with that situation of someone else getting a promotion that you felt you deserved?
Hurt, and I would feel full of self-pity, and I would feel that I wasn't valued, and then I would go and drink 100% of the time. But
wait, what if you got the promotion?
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. And then I would be excited and happy and still not content, and I would go drink.
Wow.
And so it's just not dealing with my emotions at all. So whatever the emotion is, I'm not dealing with it effectively or properly, because the way I deal with life is drinking.
Right. And I kind of had a similar realization this past year of like, wow, everything in my life is good, and yet I'm still not okay inside. And I realized, like, I actually don't know what to do when life is calm and everything is good. I actually need that drama. I need that conflict. I need that. And so for me, I would, if that situation happened to me, I would just probably internally rage about it. I would probably try to prove myself, maybe and a lot of this was like, I didn't even realize I was doing this, but maybe trying to undermine the other person and make them look bad.
Cause a little chaos. Maybe a little gossip.
For sure. I would have complained to all my close friends and you about, the unfairness of the situation. And I think that what I realized for me is the same thing of what you just said, of like, I just was never satisfied. I just wasn't ever satisfied. I felt like the world owed me. I felt like I deserved better. I felt like I knew best. And yeah.
Self-pity is, no. Entitlement is self-pity's ugly aunt.
So how do you get out of self-pity?
You go into recovery and you get all of those needs that you're trying to get from the world around you from God. And I know that sounds so simple, but we use alcohol, we use people to give us what we need. We are consumers, and we are supposed to get those needs met by God. So then the recovery process actually connects us with God and not alcohol and not people. And so we have healthy relationships with people. We're not taking from them, we're giving to them. That would be the simple answer. Or complex. This is good meditation stuff to
definitely something
feelings on the job. Let's just move forward and going, how do we deal with feelings differently than we do at home? Yeah. And I think you need a support system too. That's super important.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking how, like, for some people, 12-step group is great, and that's where they begin a journey of healing. For other people, it's maybe a huge step for them to go to therapy and to get a therapist. And I think that's a big deal, and it's really important. Hearing someone talk recently about, like, they just started journaling, and it was just like, I don't even know how to do this. Like, how do I even get this? And some good recommendations of, like, just putting your thoughts down on paper, and, like, if you need to burn it afterwards, burn it, but just, like, get those out, like, get your deepest thoughts out of yourself, where they just, I feel like inside me, my thoughts and my feelings just, like, swirl and gain speed and traction and grow like legs and a horn and a tail. But if I, like, write them down and they're in front of me, it's almost like I put them in front of God. And then burn it, tear it up, destroy it.
Well, that's what she's saying, is not acknowledging our feelings is what keeps us stuck and gives us stomach aches, headaches, and heartburn. So actually not dealing with your emotions that are exaggerated within you and pointing out wounding and hurt, if we don't deal with that, that's what's causing anxiety. That's what's festering inside. resentment and all of that stuff. And it comes out in our physical being, our anxiety, like our stomach.
Science has actually proven this now. Science has proven this link between our physical being and our mental or emotional state, and how like actually our body can't help but reflect what's happening in our.
And the real problem is the spiritual problem. Right. And so our spirit is designed to feed our mind, will, and emotions, which feeds our body. Beautiful thing.
I was reading a book last year that I haven't finished yet. It's kind of
is that your feelings book?
It's one of those ones that, you know, maybe you realize like this is more intense than what I realized, and I'm going to put it on the shelf and pick it up again sometime. But it was a really, really impactful book, and it was by a doctor, a scientist, like he teaches at Yale, and he said that the more language we have around feelings, so most of us can't describe our feelings with words. You know, we know angry, sad, happy, you know, we have like this very limited vocabulary, and they've done extensive research and now have a program for teaching children language around feelings so that children can better express themselves. And as soon as you have words, he said, as soon as you have more language to describe what's happening inside of you, that is actually what makes things better. He's like, that is actually what makes the difference. People who are given language to express their feelings, he's like, you'll often find your feelings resolve themselves just through talking. He's like, it really does work. It's scientifically proven.
Some of my best therapy appointments is when they've said nothing and I say everything. And I'm like, everything's solved. Here's your $100.
You ever leave feeling like totally ripped off? Yeah, like I could have done that in a dark room by myself. I could have done that with a mirror. But what has probably happened though is they've asked a couple questions that actually got you talking.
Or I came in with the questions and I just started talking, and then it all works itself out in my mind and my emotions, and I get it out and then I leave. Yeah. So friends, if you want to connect a little further, we have LifeLab. That is a 17-week series to lead you from brokenness to wholeness. Feel free to.
You talk about emotions in there. We teach about
emotions. God speaks to us through our emotions if we're willing to hear it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We got our midweek noon group, All Addictions LifeLab Recovery Group. So feel free to join us at noon Eastern. And we will see you. Have a great day with your emotions. Try to unpack them properly, effectively, efficiently, or practice not doing that. All right. Have a great afternoon.
And thanks for being here.